All right, so here we are in second session. Students are way over there. Wave hi, everybody. Yay. And what we're going to go through is our first blueprint exercise. We've gone through the introduction of what a blueprint is, and we've talked about this thing called a blueprint editor, and we have set up a new blueprint. Taking one step back as part of our, just a quick review, is we started a third person map. We set up a folder with our name, and we clicked on add. We went to a blueprint class. From there, we clicked on actor. We give it a name such as BP underscore, whatever we're going to call it. And then we hit enter. And once we do that, we can double click on to open up our object, and we end up in a view like this. All right, I'm going to get the example map out of the way. We're going through a step-by-step, and this is going to be left for anybody who wants a review or maybe who isn't here today to go over this lab exercise 1-1. And I'll zoom in a little bit. So what we've done here is we've added a new blueprint class. We've used an actor. They call theirs BP hello, which is fine. And now it says in the event graph, find the box which says event begin play. So you'll notice it says in the event graph. This is a vocabulary word. If we look over here, the event graph is this particular tab right there. So I'm in the event graph, and it says find the object that says event begin play, and here's an image of it. So that's where we find it right here. If I want to zoom in on it, I can use the scroll wheel. I could use the middle mouse button to pan in my view here. I'm sorry, my non-primary mouse button. And this is the one that says event begin play. On the output node, which is the pin there, we're going to drag. It's going to create a wire or a white line, which is the execution path, from the begin plays events output execution pin, and release the mouse button to open the context menu. So what that means is I'm going to drag off the execution path, and I'm going to let go like so. At step 5 on the left, it says you'll see how the system opens a search box for you. It understands when you let go of a pin that it should bring up the quote-unquote next thing to do. Use the built-in feature from this to search for the word print. So I'm going to type in PRINT, and I'll find a function called print string, which is highlighted. I'm going to hit enter so that it brings that into and connects it wired on the execution path, a function called print string. If I leave my mouse hovered over it, it tells me what that function does. So now I'm down to step 5, and I'm going to scroll down from here to get to the next page. Now it says update the value of the rights to the string to be displayed, such as hello from student. Notice it says replacing with your first and last name. So instead of saying hello, we're going to update the value here. So it says hello from, and then I want you to put in like your first and last name, not student. Notice step 6. You have to do all these steps or it won't work. Press the compile button. In the upper left-hand corner of our view here, it says compile. So I'm going to click on the word compile. When I do so, the green checkbox indicates that all of my changes have been compiled. Now I've got this compiled, but it's not in my world. If I go into my world, which I'm going to bring up here, it's my third person level that I started with, and I were to play the level as it is, nothing different happens. Notice in the upper left-hand corner it says click for mouse control. I can move around, but no message displays. What I need to do is, now that I've changed this blueprint, I've set this up, I need to actually put it in the world. So if I drag, click and hold and drag, and I'm just going to put this in front of my player, not that it matters, you'll notice there's the physical representation of this blueprint that sits here. The sphere will not show up in the world. It's just a placeholder actor. And notice in the world outliner over here, you can see something called BP demo. Yours might be BP hello. Now that it's here, watch in the upper left-hand corner as I click on the word play. It says, hello from Mr. Judge. And it was there for just long enough that you might have noticed it, and then it goes away. So here's a tip that I hope I left in the instructions. Let me bring the instructions up here. I'm going to press F8 to eject from my player. And I'm going to go back into my instructions here. And if I didn't, I'll update them. Here we go. It says, after pressing the play button, you should see your message displayed in the viewport and in the output log window, which I'll show you in a minute. And then it says, tip, add a longer delay to the message so it stays on the screen. Note, it appears in the upper left-hand corner of the display when the event occurs. The event is begin play. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back. I have to actually stop my execution to make a change. And in the event graph, there's something that says development only. And if you click on the drop down arrow, it'll expand an area, and I can change it from a duration of 2 to, for example, 22 or 12. So I'm going to keep this print string message up for 12 seconds. And now I've made a change. I need to actually compile it. Notice here it no longer has a checkbox. When you make a change, it is going to indicate you've made a change. You should recompile it, which I'm going to do. I got the green checkbox, meaning that it checks out. And now I'm going to show you a better way to test the flow here. I'm going to click on the word simulate over here. And when you see simulation, when I play my level, if you watch closely, the white line here will basically show me that this is what's happening. So watch, as I click on play, see this little line? That shows me that's what's happening now. Look in the upper left-hand corner. It says, hello from Mr. Judge. That's going to stay for a total of 12 seconds, and then it's going to disappear. 12 seconds is enough time for me to grab a screenshot and show two things. My event graph in the lower right, as well as the text showing up on screen up here. So what I want to do is I'm going to actually make sure that in my event options here, I do print it to the log. And by all means, if you have a color you like better, you can change the color. I'm fine with that customization. So this time, when I again recompile to make sure my change is there, I make sure I've got this set to simulate. It's going to show up with whatever I've got going over in that corner. And I'm going to grab with the snipping tool, I'm going to grab that particular screenshot. So using the snipping tool as a reminder, I'm going to be clicking on the word new. I'm going to be dragging and dropping, and I want you to include the following elements. Your hello message. I want to see that you've got it simulating. I want to see that you've got a print string node which shows what's going to show up on screen. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to click on play. And as this is happening with simulating, I want to try to catch it with the snipping tool, or I can hit the print screen key. Click on the play and grab my new, and then grab this. There we go. So now I've got all the elements here. If you wanted to, before you turn in this particular example, you could highlight the part where you've got your text showing. You could highlight that you're simulating it and that your text is here. And you're basically showing that your work is complete, and you can turn that in. I'm going to end this demo for this part and then go for questions. So let's see. Get back to my demo here and stop sharing.